computer. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, then welcome to our training for this month, and it's going to be called the Entrepreneurial Mindset. And what we want to accomplish with this training is help you first to see the importance of mindset. So today we're going to discuss a little bit of that in just looking at how your mindset determines your success. Let me just close this another window. So why is mindset even important? Are we just wasting our time in even having this topic or not? And I'll show you it's actually super important that we can look at the way you think about entrepreneurship, the way you think about business. So we're going to look at that today. And it's going to be a little bit different for these. What we're going to do, we're actually going to have some breakout rooms. We're going to have some discussion. So it's going to be interactive. You're going to have a ton of fun while we do this. I had a pop-up window here that I just need to close. My apologies. I have so many things open here now at the moment. Let me close it. Are you still seeing a presentation or seeing something else? Oh, you do? Okay. I see a ton of other things. So let me just click back.
The presentation now.
Okay. That's great then. Okay. I had a pop-up here. Then next week, we're going to actually going to look at how should an entrepreneur think? All right. What are some of those thinking processes? What are some of those mindsets that we should have in place to think like an entrepreneur? And then, of course, how do we identify and overcome some of these mindset obstacles? So if this is the way we should think entrepreneurially, if this is the way entrepreneurs think generally, what are some of those things that keeps us from thinking that way? And how can we overcome those obstacles? Because if you think more entrepreneurial, you will become more like an entrepreneur and have greater success in the entrepreneurial space. You know, our head leads us. I remember, now I don't know about you guys in other countries, but in South Africa, we have bars over all our windows to keep all the tsotsis out, to keep all the guys that want to break into your house to keep them out. So we have bars on all our windows. And I remember my dad always said, because it has happened that we have locked ourselves out of our homes. And then you need to break into your own house, but there's so many bars, you can't get in. And then he would take us kids and pick us up and he said, get your head through. If you can get your head through the bars, you're able to put your whole body through it. So many times we will push our heads through the bars, and if our head went through, the rest of our body went through, and we're able to get into the house and open up for them. And it's almost like this, where your head can go, there the rest of you can follow. If your head can go through the bars, if you have an entrepreneurial mindset, your business can follow in those things. So I want to show you how important is mindset. I'm going to show you a picture that probably all of us have seen. This is not a funny picture. This is not something that's going to, you be like, oh, where's this from? It's going to be a very common picture. But what I want you to do, if I show you this picture, go into the chat box and tell me, what do you think about? So you see this picture, what will come up in your mind? What comes up in your mind when you see this picture? A red dot. Who has not seen a red dot before? So in the chat box, tell me what comes up in your mind when you see this. China. Bar, China. Fire, stop, danger. The need for a really great quote. Indian, stop. Anger, I like it. Japanese flag. Another stop. Okay, give me 3 more. Bullseye, I like that one. I need 2 more. Beware. Okay. Can you see how interesting this exercise is? I mean, this is a very simple picture. It's one red dot. That's it. Yet, about 10 of us had different perspectives, different thinking. Our minds went to another way. Some of us went to China. Some of us went to Japan. Some of us went to a stop sign. Some of us said, beware. Some of us said, that's the bullseye I want to reach to by a single dot. Just imagine the complexity of business and the power of your mind when you think about business. If we had so many different thinking just on a red, plain, simple dot, not even shaded, can you imagine the power of your thinking if you see business, if you see a business problem, if you see a business obstacle, if you see success, that's going to trigger something in your brain that's going to make you react on a certain way. So I want to show you what a mindset does. A mindset, I'm trying to explain it. Think of, and this might be a horror picture, a washing machine. Think of a washing machine. So when you set the washing machine, you turn the dial. The setting itself is not really what accomplishes the washing, it's what it reproduces. So if you set it to warm, suddenly you have warm water, you have a 60-minute cycle instead of a 30-minute cycle, or whatever it might be. It's the setting that produces something else. So when you think of a mindset, it's not just about changing the mindset, it's what does the mindset do? It's you set yourself up for two major things. You're turning the setting of your thinking to produce something specific. And I'm proposing this morning that your setting determines two specific things. Number one, it determines your attitude. And number two, it determines your belief. So if you have a certain mindset, if you saw the red dot and maybe you were thinking of Japan, what was your attitude towards Japan? What was your belief towards Japan? If you saw that red dot somewhere and you believed that represented stop, there was a certain attitude that you felt towards that stop. If that stop was in your business, that you're going to stop. If that stop was in traffic where you wanted to have a green light and you saw the red light, it triggered stop. And then suddenly you have an attitude and a belief system that is connected to that mindset. So I want you to almost to go one layer deeper and say, my mindset, my entrepreneurial mindset, what it will actually do for you is it will determine your attitude and your belief system towards that kind of business or that problem or that product or that system. And honestly, think about this. If you can have your attitude aligned and if you can have your belief system aligned, you're almost impossible to stop. And I'll tell you why. Because attitude is the way you do something. If you hate to do something constantly, you will at some point probably stop. But if your attitude is aligned and you enjoy what you're doing, you will continue doing that. And one of the keys to success is getting up one more time than you fall down. Sometimes it's not the secret to success. It's just keeping on what you're doing and expecting a breakthrough. So if you have a good attitude, we're saying the mindset will set two things for you. It will set your attitude and it will set your belief. An attitude we're going to define as the way you do something. Your belief is what you do. If I believe that this next step is going to bring a breakthrough, I will take the step. If I have a belief that A will have better results than B, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do A. So depending on your belief system, it will determine your next action step. So those two things are super important. What it actually brings is passion and conviction. If you take attitude to the extreme, and if you take belief to the extreme, you're going to end up with two things, passion and conviction. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, if you have a passionate person that's convicted about something, man, you're unstoppable. Think of Hitler. Now, that is a bad example, but he was convicted about a certain ideology. Although it was a sick ideology, he was convicted that he had to do it, and he had passion for it. He had an attitude, a belief, and he did so much worse things, and so many people followed him but because he had the passion and the conviction. Think of athletes. I don't get up early in the morning to run around. I don't even like it. But they're convicted that that is what they need to do. And they have the passion, or they're convicted they want to go to the Olympics or win the Olympics. And then they have the passion or the attitude to do it. So I want to have you think deeper. If you think of the entrepreneurial mindset, I want you to think about your attitude. I want you to think about your belief as it pertains to your business, because that will translate ultimately into your passion and your conviction. If you don't have passion, you'll stop. If you're not convicted, you stop. If you're not convicted, you will not think of creative ways to solve problems. And if you're in a business, any business, I don't care what business it is, you're going to have problems. You're going to always need to think of a way that I can do better. How can I improve? How can I change? Life is changing. Economy is changing. We have economic cycles that's changing. The only constant in life is change. We've heard that. And your business will need to adapt. But if you don't have a certain belief or conviction that you want to succeed, you'll probably give up. If you don't have the passion and the right attitude for that, you probably want to give up. So I really want to encourage you to look at the deeper levels and say, what if I look at my mindset, what's the attitude and the belief system I have, which is going to translate into my passion and my conviction? So what I would love for us to do is do a practical exercise. And I just picked this topic called unemployment. In most countries, even in the US, a first world country, unemployment is massive at the moment. They promote and ask for people to come and work all over the place. I read an article about 2 weeks ago that South Africa is actually now the highest unemployment rate in the world. So just think of unemployment. That's now your little red dot. So instead of me giving you a red dot, I'm giving you this topic, unemployment. And this is what you want you to think about. How do you think about unemployment? Just if I throw the word to you, unemployment, what comes up in your mind? And I'm going to tell you what I think. Then I want you to discuss what is your attitude towards the unemployed and your country's policies currently addressing the unemployment issue. Okay, so what is your attitude towards people that's unemployed, and also to the policies, your country, wherever you're from, excuse me, wherever you're from, what is your attitude towards that? Then I want you to discuss what is your belief as it pertains to the unemployment issue, and then go one level deeper, what is giving you this mindset? So that's the 4 questions. What I'm going to do, I'm going to divide us into Zoom groups. So you're going to be about 3 people in a group. I'm going to give you 7 minutes to discuss this. So that's about 2 minutes per person and 1 minute to do introduction. So about 7 minutes. I want you to discuss this in your groups on Zoom, this unemployment issue, to just kind of get to know how you think about different topics. Are we all good for that? Okay, so let me make sure about this, and we're gonna, where's my groups? I'm gonna need to stop the screen share, and then we can go into groups. So you all got the questions? Let me make this bigger.
Hey, Melton, can you put up those questions real quick again? Because I need to take a screenshot. Maybe we should take a screenshot.
Okay, let's do that. Let me share. If all of you can take a screenshot of that, then I'll need to come back. Otherwise, I am not able to do groups. So let me do this. Okay, it's coming up. There we go. So take it, and maybe take off the whole screen so that you have the second issue as well that we're going to discuss. Okay, you all got a screenshot?
Got it.
We're all good?
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Okay, and we're going into rooms, and I'll see you back in 7 minutes. There we go.
But it's so difficult to open. I'm telling, yeah, I can't open it. Yeah. No, I did. I put it in. Oh, okay, I managed to open it. Yeah.
Association is great. So I know I have a lot of charity as well. Is also brilliant for and there are all the people about it now.
I like the breakout rooms. That was a good thing.
It's always fun to get to know other people. I would love if you can just everybody make sure you're muted just for okay. And then what I would like to do, one or two or three of you give me some feedback, and you can unmute yourself, give us your name, where you're from, give us some feedback, not on the topic of unemployment, because that's a whole nother topic. Countries have been discussing this for years. Give me some feedback on what you noticed about mindset, people's thinking. Can I have some feedback on that? Maybe you draw a parallel, or you're like, oh, I didn't know this, or this is good. But so give me feedback on mindset, attitude, and belief. Valerie?
So one of the things that we had started to discuss right at the end, and we didn't have a lot of time to talk about it, but was trying to go from, well, it started with unemployment, but it takes a certain mindset to go from being employed by somebody else and answering to them. You have to have a whole mindset shift when you have your own business and you're trying to do your own thing, and you're only answering to yourself then.
Listen, the fact is, if you can go, we speak about entrepreneurship. if you try and go with employment mindset into entrepreneurial space, bubble. It takes a different kind of. I'm going to just mute there. It takes a different kind of thinking. So I think that is a great observation. You need to change some of your thinking habits. So I would do a great exercise if you maybe came from an employment world to say, okay, how did I always think about this? And how should I think about this? So some of it we'll tell you next week on what are some of those entrepreneurial mindsets. But I think that's an excellent observation. Anybody else? I want to chance for 2 more people. Just say, this is what I kind of picked up on either attitude, belief, or mindset. Jimmy.
Yeah, Melt. So we also at the end discussed that for the African market, there's a lot of unemployment going on. The numbers are great and all of that, but the mindset should really shift to entrepreneurship in this space. And what we discussed, what Nick mentioned, is that Africa needs a hero. And hero would be our product range, but spelled with an I. So the mindset should shift to what I should do for myself in the space of unemployment. What I can do. There's an opportunity presented here, but if I can look at the I, and the hero is there, it's available, it's to my disposal. But what do I do about it? The I in hero. I can be my own hero, and we can change the mindset around just waiting for a hero to come and save you. Or just, putting up your hand and saying, listen, I can take this opportunity and I can do something with that. So there's that mindset shift, I think, that can happen in Africa, and that we can really, do something about once the product comes into Africa. So we are very excited about the hero coming to save us Africans.
Listen, yeah, thank you. That's a great comment. I was thinking about, I had a mentor once and we spoke about an issue, and he said, if I were you, these were my 2 options. And I said, well, which one would you take? He said, it's not up to me. He said, whatever you pick, if it's a mess up, it's you. If it's great, it's you. It's like, I can tell you what to do, but the result of the decision is you. It's nobody's going to think for you and do it for you. So that is a great piece of advice. Thank you very much for that. The next person and the last person that I saw raise their hand, how sweet, how nice, thank you very much, is Boitemelo. So if you want to unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about what you guys discussed.
Thank you, Mel. As we were discussing, I picked up that even Botswana has unemployment issues, and it's a country with diamonds, mind you. But I also realized that as network marketers, the mind shift has to change, yes, and the attitude has to change, so that when somebody who is in the E quadrant, which is the employment quadrant, can be able to see, listen, I come from where you're from, but here am I, and it's actually happening. I think, I don't know, yeah, Vusi said it, then we have this mentality in South Africa of always thinking this is a scam. So I think our mindset has to, or even our drive here at New Age, we will have to push as if this thing, it's not if it's legit, but in a way that does not feel like it's overwhelming for someone that feels like it cannot be done because they come from such a wide gap from that mindset of employment to a mindset of an entrepreneur. So I think that's what I picked up as well, that how we present ourselves and how we even present our business should be something that is doable and it's exciting, and just a change of attitude with us as well, to be patient with people. Yeah.
I love it. That's so true. I think it was Mark Wilson that said some people call them lucky, and honestly, success is predictable. Here's my prediction, and I don't read cards or anything, but if you do nothing, you'll get nothing. If you do nothing, you won't have success. But if you do something, that might not always succeed, but if you keep on doing something, you will have success. And that is the predictability of success, is that, 0 times 1,000,000 is how much? Not a trick question. Zero. Zigalo in South Africa. So if you do nothing and somebody gives you an opportunity that has the ability to make $1 million or R1 million, but you do nothing, 0 times nothing is, 1,000,000 times 0 is nothing. But if somebody gives you the opportunity to make $1 million, R1 million, and you start taking single steps, 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, suddenly 2 times $1 million is 2 million. And so I think that's part of it. We need to take action, and we make sure we change our mindset in that, because if your attitude is wrong in any business, if you don't have the right conviction, wrong belief, you will not take action. And I think those are the 2 main ingredients that any entrepreneur needs to take action. Believe and what's the other one? Can I read it? I made this presentation and I forgot.
Attitude.
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 Belief and attitude. That's going to be the 2 ingredients any person needs to take action. If I believe that giving flowers to my wife is going to make her love me more, I'll take action, and I'll do it in the right attitude. I'm not going to say, Erica, here's your flowers. No, I'm going to say, Erica, here's your flowers. My attitude and my belief, and she will love me more. I tell you that. So, okay, that was good. So what I want you to do, second exercise, I want you to go a little bit into not just generic, something like unemployment. I want you to think of something in your business that's currently an issue, a problem, an obstacle, whatever you want to call it. It can be anything. So, and this again is any business. So think of something in your business that's currently kind of an obstacle or something that you need to overcome. We're going to go into groups. You're going to share that with the person and say, in my business, this is kind of where I'm at. And currently, here's the 3 questions. This is my attitude towards it. This is my belief towards it. And this is why I think I have this mindset. So there's your 3 questions. So you're going to pick an issue that's your business issue, not something out there. You're going to say, this is what I believe about it. This is my attitude towards it. And this is why I think my mindset is set like this towards that specific issue. Again, I think about 7 minutes. We'll be about 3 or so. I'm going to put less people in the group. I'll put 3 people in the group so you have more discussion time. So we'll do 7 minutes again, and then we'll come back and continue. Is that all clear to everybody? So you pick your own business issue. You tell us what's your attitude towards it, what you believe towards it, and why do you have that mindset. So here we go. Recreate. Okay, there we go. I'll see you in 7 minutes. Thanks, Nick. So I would love to have 1 or 2 people give me feedback just on this breakout session. And this is what I want. Don't tell me what you discussed. Give an observation about mindset. What did you pick up about mindset? Something that you've learned about mindset, belief or attitude, a common belief, a common attitude that you've picked up. So don't tell me what you discussed. Give me an observation about mindset in terms of belief or attitude. So again, you can just unmute yourself. Sarah, thank you very much. Tell us.
Sorry, I just realised I haven't unmuted myself then. It's very much about staying positive, believing in what you're doing, and
Sarah, you're muted.
Muted, Sarah.
oh, sorry, sorry guys. So it was very much about the right mindset, the positive mindset, you know, not letting you know, things get in the way, and staying as positive as possible and striving forward with what your belief is in what you're doing. That was the main thing that we talked about, really, that what I picked up on.
I absolutely love that. Let me just unmute my. That is wonderful. Positivity is, I think, probably the number one attitude that an entrepreneur should have is positivity. Because here's what happened. Well, let's take the opposite. What's going to be your outlook on life and your business with a negative attitude? Will a negative attitude serve your business well? Not at all. So the positive attitude means that you'll actually be able to take positive action steps. Does that mean you ignore the elephant in the room? Is positivity being stupidity? No. So the ability to be able to see reality, that is entrepreneurial thinking. To say, here's reality, here's some of my real issues, cash flow, HR, whatever it might be. Here's my real issues, but I still choose to stay positive about it, that I know for a fact there is an outcome. So positivity is not in Africa, we say the ostrich put its head in the sand. I don't know if it really happens, but they say so. It's not that. That's not positivity. That's stupidity. But you can have positivity and you can still address the real issues. It doesn't need to be either or. So I think that's super important. Thank you very much for that, Sarah. That positivity is important, but it also does not mean that we ignore the real stuff in our business just because we're positive. If you just say, oh, it's going to work out, but there's no action steps, I think you're leaning towards the wrong side. If you say it will work out and this is what I'm doing about it, I believe positively that this will make a change. Now you're aligned for success. So very important. I think we need a chance for one more and then I'll wrap it up. One more person want to share. So something, an observation about mindset. I have George.
Okay, let me just unmute.
Yeah, and sorry, I will also, Gavin, I saw you raise your hand too. So George, if you can keep it short and sweet, then I can give Gavin a chance to give it short and sweet. And then we can close out with Gavin.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. It's quite ironical. Over the weekend, I was watching John Azaraf, who, as you know, is one of the typical mind gurus of the network marketing. And he made one comment. In fact, he calls it the millionaire's mindset. Mindset is what separates the best from the rest. So that's my comment.
You're muted, Melton.
Oh, I'm sorry. George, that was excellent. You could have taken a few more seconds, but to the point, that was really, really good. Gavin, I'm going to swing over to you and check with us.
I really sincerely believe in the mindset of identifying opportunities and solutions versus just hurdles. And the current environment of COVID and that anybody can list hurdles.
Yeah.
Is it a solution? No. We have to identify opportunities and solutions. And with that mindset, it rubs off on other people as well, but you're constantly looking at that. And I think that's the successful route under the current circumstances.
I love it. You know what? It doesn't take a rocket science to swim with the stream. You know, when everybody is negative, to add a few extra negative stuff on top, that doesn't take courage. It doesn't take tenacity. It doesn't take an entrepreneurial mindset. In fact, that's the opposite of that. But when you can start thinking in the opposite, I think it was it Vuzi that spoke and said, yes, unemployment is going down, but here's why I'm excited. I'm like, really? And then he gave things of why he's excited about unemployment. And I thought, now that is an entrepreneurial mindset. Thinking totally differently, out of the box, not just out of the box, but upstream, and say, wait, there's even, going back to Sarah's point, there is some positivity in this. And how can we take a good attitude and a good belief system to be able to harness what we find ourselves in to do it? Thank you, Gavin. That was excellent. I'm going to close us out. So let me share my last screen with you. Let's just do this, and let's just do this. Okay. I think the one takeaway I would love for you to do after our session today is to create a greater awareness of your own mindsets. Now, mindset, I don't want it to sound fluffy. The way we define mindset is attitude and belief. So maybe this next week, when you interact with people, when you interact with business partners, when you interact with your business, or as you do your business, create a better awareness of your attitude and your belief system in that specific moment. I think you're going to actually be able to self-coach yourself a little bit through this and say, but wait, what in this moment, why am I thinking like this? What's my belief like this? So just if you can have your antennas out this coming week, and that's what I wanted to accomplish with today's session, is just create an awareness of your own belief and your own attitude towards whatever issues you find yourself in. Then what I've done, I've developed an action template that's actually going to ask you some self-coaching questions on some topics or issues in your business that you can start to create that awareness of your mindset as it pertains to your business. So I would love for you to go over to meltonbdm.com. You can join our group there for free. And then you'll see there is a group that says mini workshops. So there's a separate group that says mini workshops. All of these recordings and the downloadable template will be in that group. It will say mini workshops. And if you click on that, it's going to say the Entrepreneurial Mindset. Give me about a couple of, well, at least 30 or so minutes to be able to have this recording in there as well. But the template is already there if you just want to go and download that. So I wanted to help you to identify some of your mindsets. And here's an interesting thing. You can only change what you can name. If you can name an attitude, give it a name, give it frustration, give it whatever you want to give it, give that name, give a name to your attitude and your belief. Then you will be able to start managing it and change the dial on your mindset as it pertains to your entrepreneurial activities. So next week, we're going to look at specifically what are good mindsets, good beliefs, and good attitudes that entrepreneurs should have. And then how do we incorporate these mindsets into our current business practices? So format will be typical to this. We'll have breakout rooms again, some discussion, some feedback. And yeah, that's it for today. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. I do appreciate. I hope you enjoyed this format, the way we're going to do it. I hope you learned something from this. I hope you will feel that you're closer to success, at least another step in developing your management and entrepreneurial leadership. That's what this is all about. We would love to play a little part in just helping you develop your management and entrepreneurial leadership skills. So have a great week. If you want to unmute and say goodbye, we'll do that, and I'll see you next Monday. So thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, guys. It was good.
Thanks, Mel. Awesome.
Bye.